welcome to the first layout of Layout Week 2013. This layout is brought to you by Hip to Be Square Scrapbooking, and I'll be using their June 2013 Hip Kit as well as several of the add-ons. And I have a separate video showing the kit contents and add-ons on my channel already. So the first thing I've done is drawn lines every 3 inches on one of the yellow pieces of cardstock from the kit. This is American Crafts Butter. And I'm going to use this masking tape. This is just like a wide post-it note, really. You could actually use post-it notes to do this. And I'm going to mask off one of the areas, and then I'm going to cover that whole stripe with Versamark ink. And Versamark ink is a sticky ink pad that you can use for embossing or holding embossing powder, that sort of thing, which is what I'm going to do. I'm going to cover that sticky ink with the Judykins Sticky Stuff embossing powder that came in the color kit add-on. And that is how I'm going to hold this glitter to the page. So once I have put the embossing powder down, I need to work pretty quickly. So I'm going to heat it, and then I'm going to dump the silver glitter from the color add-on, which is Wow Glitter by American Crafts, all over that sticky area to get that whole piece covered in glitter. And then I'm going to go back over it with the heat gun. When you heat it a second time, the glitter sinks into and is sealed into the embossing powder so it doesn't shed on your project. So I went ahead and did the second stripe there, and now I have these 2 broad silver stripes of glitter on my background page. So I cut my background page down to 11.5 by 11.5, and I'm going to mat it on a 12 by 12 piece of white cardstock. And the reason I did this, you see how rippled it got? By sticking it to this other sheet of cardstock, it's going to go from being really rippled to just being kind of rippled. And kind of rippled I can live with. Really rippled bothers me. So I'm just using 1/2 inch miracle tape here. And what I try to do is I try to put tape anywhere there's bubbles so that I'll be able to flatten it down. And to the right you can see my brayer. And I'm actually going to use my brayer to roll it out so that it's as flat as it can get. It's not going to be perfect because the paper has shrunk by being heated rather, but it's going to be pretty close. So here's my background, and I'm ready to get scrapping. So also in the kit were these canvas frames from Maggie Holmes for Create Paper, and one of them had this cute little date sticker stapled onto it. So I am just gonna put February 14th, 2013 on there with a date stamp. And what I'm gonna do is I'm going to adhere this right to my photo, and it's the perfect size actually to frame this photo. And I'm just gonna I'm trying to get the first side straight, and then I'm going to go to get the bottom straight and then get my second side straight, except that my second side fell down and the whole thing got crooked, and so I had all of this canvas frame drama, but I finally was able to get it all down straight enough. One of the sides is not perfectly straight, but it's canvas, it's fabric, so a little imperfection is totally acceptable. And then I'm just going to cut the excess photo from behind the frame, and that is going to give me this cute little framed photo. And I'm going to save the other 2 photos on my table for another layout, and I think actually that layout will be on Wednesday. So that'll be the 3rd layout of Layout Week. So I'm actually not going to use those 2 right now, but you'll see them again. So next I've taken one of the cards from the Echo Park Photo Freedom page from the kit, and I'm going to use that as a large title element, and also kind of my journaling on the page. And then also the pink Echo Park paper behind. And then that was an awful lot of pink and red, and I wanted to pull out more of the blue from the moment. So I've added a piece of Julie Bean soup paper and another one of those cards from the collection. And that's going to give me my color scheme now, the red, the blue, and the pink. So I'm just getting started kind of attaching everything where it's gonna go. So I've got that piece all assembled and glued down, and now I'm going to stick it to the pink piece. And I realized that the pink piece is shorter than I would like, so what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to cut a strip off either side and adhere it to the back of the blue piece, and that way it'll look like it goes all the way across, which is what I want, but without me having to cut a new piece. So that's just a quick and easy way you can fix a measuring mistake. So I'm just going to glue that second piece down, and then I have my main element there. I will add a little bit more paper to this, but for the most part, I'm ready to get to embellishing. So I'm going to take these wood veneer banners that came in the kit, and I am going to use 5 of the fishtail style and 3 of the triangular style. And I'm going to spray them all with Sweet Cherry Color Shine, which is from the June Color Kit add-on. And then I'm going to set them aside to dry so I can use them later on the project. And they'll be nice and red and sparkly. From the basic gray package of transparencies and die cuts that came with the main kit, I'm going to take this little ticket and back it on a piece of scrap white cardstock that I have with some glue, and then I'm going to cut around it, and that's just so it has a white center because I want to add some things to this. Actually a butterfly embellishment that I'm going to make myself from things in the kit. So just getting that adhered down, and then I cut it out, and I'm going to just, now I can use it just like a die cut, and I'm going to put it up there in that upper corner. So just gluing it down now. And so now I've decided I still want some more blue. I just don't have as much blue as I would like. So I'm going to take the Chilled Cucumber Soup stamp set from the stamp add-on. And I'm going to take the 3 butterflies, and I'm going to ink them with Ranger tinted embossing ink, which is just like Versamark. It's a sticky ink that you can use to hold things down that you're going to heat emboss. I like this pad because it's tinted instead of clear, so it shows up a little bit better, and also it's just nice and big, so it's easy coverage. So I've stamped all my little my 3 butterflies down there, and now I'm going to take some fine white embossing powder, and I'm going to cover the inked areas with the embossing powder. And already you can see how cool those butterflies are going to look with the white on blue. And this is the blue cardstock from the kit. Pretty much everything I'm using is going to be from the kit. But now I'm going to heat it up, and you can see how pretty they look with the white pattern on the blue cardstock. And then after they've been totally heated, I'm going to take my scissors and cut around the edges, leaving just a thin blue outline around them. So I'm not going to try to get perfectly around the white. I'm just going to leave a thin blue line. So I'm going to do that off camera, though. You don't need to see me cutting. It's not the most exciting thing in the world. So now I have 3 butterfly embellishments that I can use on the page. So what I'm doing is I'm bending the wings up on either side of the body so that I can glue the bodies directly to the page, flat on the page, and then the wings will float up, and I'll use foam adhesive to keep the wings propped up. And then also from the kit, the Sweet Shop embellishment pack, there's a flare button that reads Smile, and it's red. So I'm going to use that to be my butterfly body. And then some more embellishments from the Sweet Shop collection here. This chipboard heart is going to make it onto the layout. And then you can see I put my banner up there, and I'm trying the butterfly on the banner, and I'm just kind of not in love with how the banner looks at the top. So I'm going to move it down. And then once I move the banner down, I'm really happy with how it looks. And I'm going to spell out love U, L-O-V-E, and then the letter U with the fishtail banners. And then on the triangular banners, I'm going to put a enamel dot. So now this is from the Crepe Paper DIY Shop collection. It's a diagonal black and cream stripe. And I'm going to just put a little bit at the top and bottom of the page in such a way that it looks like it goes all the way through the whole embellishment stack. And that way it'll have additional color. The black is very striking, and it makes the pinks and blues a lot stronger and more interesting. So I typically don't like to combine white and cream on the same page together, but in this case it looked okay. The black was strong enough to pull it off. So, and there's not a lot of it showing. So now I'm putting foam squares on the back of the butterfly wings, and I don't pull the backing off of them because this isn't what adheres them to the page. They'll be adhered to the page by liquid glue that I put on the body part. This is just to keep the wings from laying totally flat in the book. So that's all it's there for. So now you can see where I'm going to put the actual adhesive for the butterfly body down, and I'm going to take my largest butterfly and put it in the white area on that ticket from the Basic Gray ephemera pack. And I'm going to stack some foam squares on top of it, and then use those foam squares to stick down my flare. So that embellishment is taken care of up in the upper left. And now from the sticker sheet, I'm going to grab a red scalloped border sticker, and I'm just going to staple that behind the blue piece because I wanted some red to separate the blue and red piece from the black and cream piece. And so I'm just going to staple that sticker to the back of the blue piece like so. And that's going to give it some extra color there. And now I'm going to take my red heart, and I'm trying to peel the back off, and I had trouble getting the back of it off, and I ended up peeling off a layer of chipboard, which is no big deal. Chipboard is basically just layers of paper adhered together. So I can just put some glue and glue it down, and then I'm going to glue my smallest butterfly on top of the heart. And now it's starting to come together. I've taken a piece of the washi paper, which is a red and cream chevron, and I stuck it to a piece of scrap white cardstock. And then I put score tape on the back and adhered it to the layout, because when I took it off and adhered it directly to the layout, the glitter showed through funny, and I didn't like that. Now I'm just going to add some foam tape to the corners of the page here, just so the corners will lift a little bit, and then I'll put regular adhesive in the center, just so that the layers float up a little bit, and that'll give it a little bit more texture because it'll have a shadow. So I'm going to put my final placement here, and then I'm going to tuck my washi behind and get that stuck down. And that's going to bring some more red up to the top there, so I'll have red all the way through the layout. And now I have a place to staple my last butterfly, and I'm going to cover that staple later with an enamel dot. So I'm just going to staple him down for now. And I'll put some foam adhesive behind the wings as well, so that he also won't get flattened out in a page protector. Next, I'm going to take another one of the label stickers from the collection and adhere it under the edge of the butterfly. And this particular one reads "The Best Things in Life," and this is also from the Echo Park Photo Freedom collection. So that is going to dress that little corner up. And now I'm ready to put my banners down at the bottom of the page. So I'm taking the letter stickers from the collection, and I'm going to write LOVE on 4 of them, and then I'm going to put just a U on a 5th one. And then on the triangular pieces will be the first one, the last one, and one in between the 2 words. And that's just going to separate them out. And then once those are ready to go. What I'm going to do is I'm going to take a piece of wax paper, and this is just to protect my desk. It's not actually functional. It's just to protect my desk from glue. And I'm going to put a piece of twine on the wax paper, and then I'm going to run a bead of glue at the top of each banner and adhere them in a row along the twine. And I've chosen a blue and white twine. Just to make sure that the blue doesn't get drowned out by the red, because the red is such a strong color on the layout, and I want the blue to stay there because it's a Valentine layout, but it's also about a guy, so I don't want it to be totally pink and hearts everywhere, you know. So I'm just getting my banner finished up, and then once it's ready to go, I'll just set it aside to dry. You can see it there on the right side of the screen. So now I'm taking one of my punches. This is an American Crafts knockout punch, and it's an open scallop. And I've just made a few little borders, and I'm just going to adhere them in a couple places around the layout for additional texture, but also to keep the white from getting drowned out. You know, the white is going to help it look bright and clean instead of being totally overwhelmed by all of these colors. The white will keep it looking strong and fresh. So I'm going to adhere them in 3 places, one right beneath the photo, one on the edge by the butterfly, and then one up at the top behind the best things in life sticker is where that last one is going to end up. Even though I'm not, I don't know it yet, but okay, and there we go. I finally decide that's where I want it. So I'm just going to stick it back there with a piece of score tape. I've got to trim it down because I don't have a lot of room to tuck it. So, all right, there we go. I finally got it where I wanted it. So I'm going to commit to adhering it down. So now I've got my enamel dots, and I'm going to put a black enamel dot in the 2 remaining butterfly bodies. The other one has the smile badge, but each butterfly then has a piece of black in its center because the smile is black. And I've also changed the You and Me sticker, cover that up with the So Sweet. Again, I'm bringing more black over to that side of the page, and then also I'm not in the picture, so I decided to just cover it up with that. So now it's time to adhere my banner down to the page, and I'm just going to put a square of foam tape on the back of each piece of the banner, and then what I can do is get it exactly how I want it and glue them down one at a time. Just peel the back off the foam squares one at a time, and that way the banner will lay exactly the way that I want it to lay, and I don't have to try and stick the whole thing down at once with the banners flying every which way. So this way it looks exactly how I like it. And I want it to kind of flow along the page, so you can see me experimenting with how I'm going to stick it down. But now I've decided how I want it, so I'm getting it adhered. And then I decide those dots that are on the banners right now are actually punctuation from the letter sticker set, and I decide that they are just a little flat, so I'm actually going to cover them up with some of the black enamel dots, and that actually ends up looking quite a bit better. And then I draw with a white gel pen a heart in the center of the O, and I'm going to tie the ends of the twine in knots and trim them down because they don't need to be as long as they are. I don't want them to interfere with your ability to read that 4x6 card from Echo Park. So for my final touch, my layers of paper were looking a little muddled, and they weren't popping apart from each other as much as I would like. And normally, if I had noticed this, you know, before the very end, probably what I would have done is use some black cardstock strips to tuck in and around them so that each one of them would have a thin black border like a shadow. But at this point, it would have been just too difficult to do that. So I went with the next best thing, which is I outlined around them, which is still going to give me a black edge around each one. And that's going to help with the definition of each pattern so that they do stand off from each other instead of all blending together. And this is going to be the last thing I do for the layout. So here's just a look at the final page and how it turned out. And thanks so much for watching. There are still photos at the end.